Good morning. This is Mr. Disease again in the property of circles. Alright? Now, remember chords. Chords is the segment where the 2 points lie on the circle. A chord is the segment that lies on the circle. The 2 points lies on the circle. So do not confuse chord with secant. A chord must lie on the circle. The end point must end on the circle, meaning that point C is lying on the circle and point D is lying on the circle. When you connect them, it terminates on the circle. It dies on the circle. That's what the chord means. So we are looking at the property. I said that if two chords intersect inside of the circle, then the length of the segment, now the product of the length of the segment of the chords are equal, meaning they are congruent. If you have two chords that intersect in a circle, the length, the product of the length of the segment of the chords are equal, meaning they are congruent. What they are telling you that point from C to E times ED will be equal to AE times EB. So if you have two chords that intersect inside of the circle, the distance, the length of CE times the length of DE will always equal to the length of AE times EB. BE. So those will are congruent. In other words, that they're telling you if you take AE, right, times EB must be equal to CE times ED. The product of the length of the chord will be congruent. In this case, they tell you AE is 3. So you will have 3 times EB. EB is X. That will be equal to CE. Right? C, in this case, CE is 2 times ED, which is 6. Now you perform 3 times E is 3E is equal to 2 times 6 is 12. In this case, you will be able to solve for E. If you divide both sides by 3, in this case, that's what you will end up. Remember, this is supposed to be X. Then you will find X. In this case, X is 4. So that's the moral of this story. Same thing, if I'm looking at this, that would be AE, which is 8 times 9, should equal to FA, which is 6 times AG, which is X. That's our equation. Now the only thing you have to do is solve for it. In order to solve for that, you will have 72 is equal to 6x. Then you divide by 6. In this case, x is equal to 12. Then you're done. In this problem, you will end up with CE, which is x, CE is x times EB, which is 14, should equal to AE, which is 3. Now remember, they're telling you AD is 12. If AD is 12, the entire is 12, AE is 3, therefore ED has to be 9. That's why we'll have 3 plus 9 is 12. Therefore, time ED, which is 9. Then you will end up with 14x is equal to 27. Then you divide by 14. In this case, x, which is CE, will be 27 over 14. So this is what you need to be aware when you're dealing with two chords that intersect inside of a circle. The product of the length of the chord will be equal, meaning they will be congruent. So we're gonna take a little break and to bring some more application that has some more challenge to it. We continue our lesson where the theorem stated that if you have two chords intersect inside of a circle, then the product of the length of the segment of the chords are congruent. Meaning that I have this situation here and I need to add an equation. In this case, I know that the product of CE, that means CE times ED will always be equal to the product of BE times the product of EA. So that is your model equation. The only thing you have to do is replace that. In this case, CE is X, replace X for CE, times ED, which is 2X, should equal to BE, which is 9, times EA, which is 8. Now you have substitute the expression in this, then you have to compute the equation. That would be X times 2X is 2X squared, and 8 times 9 is 72. In this case, we need to solve for X. In order to solve for X, we'll have to divide both sides by 2. In this case, X squared is equal to 36. Then you have to take the square root of X squared. The square root of X squared is plus or minus 6. Since we're looking for distance, we don't need your distance to be negative. So if you let X be negative, so CE will be negative. We don't want that. In this case, we only keep positive 6. Positive 6 is the best answer. Since we're in with distance, we don't need your distance to be negative. We don't need the length is negative. In this case, for this problem, we can say that is this distance is X plus 1 times this distance, which is 10, should equal to this distance, which is 15 times X. That would be your model equation. In this case, we need to solve for it. In order to solve for that, you have to do distributive property. That will give you 10x plus 10 is equal to 15x. In order to solve for x, we'll have to subtract 10x on each side. Then you will have 5x is equal to 10. In order to find x, you will have to divide by 5. In this case, you will find the value of x. In this case, x will be equal to 2. Right. In this case, x is 2. Next problem. Let's use some mess. In the next problem, we'll take 12. This distance times this. That will be 12 times x is equal to 18 times 8. That will be your model equation. And in this case, you solve for it. You will end up with 12x is equal to 18 times 8. 18 times 8, you do long multiplication, that will give you 64. Carry 6. 8 plus 6 is 14. You will end up with 144. 12x is equal to 144. Then you divide by 12. In this case, you will end up with x is equal to 12. So earlier, when you have 12x times 18 times 8, you could have divided both sides by 12. In this case, you could have simplified that. If you those that have 6 in common, that will be 3 times, that will be 2 times. 2 goes to 8 4 times, then you will end up with 3 times 4, which is 12. That's another way to play this week. If you are using if you're not using calculator, you will have used simplifying method. So that was Mr. This is in a short lesson. How when you have two chords that intersect inside the circle, you need to find the product of the chords. You set them equal to each other. That's how you get the equation. That was Mr. This is in another one. Have a great one.